Hi guys, welcome to this new video on Python. In this video, I am going to show you how you can scrape data from multiple pages from any site that you want to collect data from. In this video particularly, I am going to scrape data from the Flipkart website. So first of all, let me give you a short introduction about web scraping. So what web scraping is to collect data from the web pages that are available on the server side using Python and Beautiful Soup 4. So this is the Flipkart website where I have searched laptops. So these are the laptops that are shown on the web page. If I go at the end of this page, you can see that there are total number of 20 pages. So what we'll do is that we'll scrape data from all these 20 pages and we'll collect the details about this laptop so that we can use it for further analysis. So what things we are going to capture is these details that are available in the laptop, the rating of the laptop and the price of the laptop. So let's get started. If you don't have this libraries installed in your Colab, so by default I think Colab have this Beautiful Soup, Request, CSV and Pandas already, so you don't need to install. But if you are working on the local system like Jupyter Notebook, so you need to install it. So you can do that the same by pip install and the library name. So we are importing some dependencies here, that is Beautiful Soup. First of all, the request to collect the data, then CSV to convert our data frame to CSVs, and we have the Pandas module so that we can play with the panel data. So let's import them. Once these are imported, next is that we will be declaring containers. So here the containers are nothing but list that of the data that we want. So we want the description, processor, RAM, OS, storage, the size of the screen, then we want the warranty period, prices and the rating of the laptop from this site. So this is done. Now this is the main part. See this cell where I have declared this list object which ranges from 1 to 20 for all the pages, and what this below part will do is that it will scrape the data from each and every page, and after that it will go to the next page and scrape it from there. So here we have applied a for loop for pages in pages, and what this request object will do is that from the request method above we use this get method from this site that we have passed. If you go and check here, so every time it runs in the loop, we have this dot format operator here. It passes the page number. So first it will be page number 1. So if you see this website, you can see here the offset is number 1. So if we click on the next page, so here you can see this only the last number that changes to 2. Besides that, all the link is the same. So same thing, to replicate that in our code, we have applied the dot format and we are passing that integer here, and then we are converting the same thing to a text. Then we create the soup object here using the Beautiful Soup, and we pass this request object using the HTML parser. Because the content on this page is of the kind of HTML, you can also use XML parser. You need to write small logic for scraping out different content that you want. So here first of all, what we are doing is that we will be scraping out the description. You just need to click here on the inspect button, and whatever part that you want to scrape, for example if I want to scrape the description here, so let's click on this description using this arrow. So here you will get the name of the class. So this is the name of the class, and here you can see we are using the soup find all method. We are passing the class name as division because here we have div class in the HTML page, and then we have this class name, and then what we do is that for I in range of the length of the description, that is this div class 3wu553n is common for every description on the same page. So if I click on this class, you will see that this is the same div class, but if I also click on the second class, you will see that that is also the same class. So everything will be captured in the same. So we write for I in the range of length of description, we append it to the description container that we created above. And what we append is that from the description we capture the disk, we convert it to text and we append it. The same thing is done for every other object here, like the processor, the RAM, the storage, the OS and the inches, all are actually captured in different classes which you can find out using this point operator. Whenever you click on any of this tab, you will get the class name. So here you can see that all this description about the OS, processor, RAM, etc., etc. has been captured in this class which is of li, and the class name is TVE95H. So we have written the same logic here for this common class, which has this core RAM, the whether the storage is HDD or SDD, operating system, the display, and the warranty. And what we do is that we append it to the respective containers that we had initialized above. Then we go for and do the same thing for the price. Use the soup.findAll. We apply the div class and we find the class name. So here is the class name for price, and we append it to the prices container. And the same thing is done for the rating part. So I hope that this part is clear to you. This is the main cell of our complete code, which is going to scrape the data of 20 pages on the same site. So let's run this cell. Since we are scraping around 20 pages, it may take some time, but don't worry, since you are working on Colab, it will be comparatively faster. So once this part is done, so let's check for the list lengths, because many a times what happens is that tags may be actually absent, so nothing gets appended to the list. For example, if we check this page, and currently we are on the second page, so you can see that some of this attributes. So here you can see we have 1 2 3 4 5 and 6. We only have 6 things in the description part of this laptop. That means that one tag is missing. Due to this, what may happen is that the list which we get in the final after running this part, it may differ in length. So let's check the length of all the containers that we have. So here you can see we have this some list with 456, 456, 458, 472, 460, 440, 469, 456 and 547. So this is due to the absence of the tags which are not there. So what we need to do is that to convert this to a data frame, we need to pass the minimum number of the length to the data frame object. So here what we do is that the minimum number from this we get is around 440. So once this is done, we need to just use the pandas data frame method to convert it to a data frame. We have also named the columns here. So let's run this cell. So we are done. Now let's see the data set. So this is the data set that we get from the scraped website. We have the description, we have the processor, RAM, operating system, storage, display, warranty, and the price. Now you can use this data set in your machine learning projects, or else to do some other analysis work. Also what you can do is that you can change this data set to an CSV file. So for that you just need to use the toCSV function and give the name of the CSV file and the path to it. So here I am using the dataset .toCSV and I am giving the laptop 20 as the CSV name. So once I run this cell, you can see that it gets generated on my local sample data. So if I double click on it, so you can see that we get the CSV file here, and we can check the data as we want. So this was regarding converting the data frame to CSV. So now some people may also ask that what if you want to save this data frame to a SQL table or a database. So for that what you can do is that you can save the same data frame into a SQLite table. So we first import the SQLite 3 and then we create a connection and we create a sample database, that is testdb1 is the name of my database, and then we create a cursor connection here using the con.cursor method. So once the connection is established, what you need to do is that you need to create a table to store the same data frame. So here I have created a table called as laptop 20 and we pass in the field name. So I have the laptop ID, the description, RAM, the processor, RAM, operating system, so other fields that we had in the above data frame, and using the commit method on this connection, we say that the table must be created and it should exist. So we run this cell. After that what we do is that on the data frame object that we have above, so what we do is that we use the toSQL function. We pass in this laptop 20 as the name of the dataset. We pass the connection that we created here with the SQLite, and we write that if exist, we replace the table with the same name and index is equal to false. So once we run this part, Now our SQL table has been created, so we can use the c.execute, that is on the connection. We can use the execute method to write simple SQL queries. So here we are selecting the complete table, that is select star from laptop 20, that is my table. So we get that this is an SQLite cursor object at this location. And now to see all the rows that and data in the same, what you can do is that for row in, we need to write this for loop. For row in c.fetchAll, fetchAll is the method which will fetch everything from this table, from this cursor object, and it will print every row. So let's print it. So here you can see that we get all the data that we had scraped from the website as an SQL table. So let's also run some other query. In this second query, what I have done, c.execute, I have selected only the RAM, display and the price from the laptop 20, and we are limiting it to 5. Once this is done, we again write this for loop for row in c.fetchAll method, which will fetch this SQLite cursor object from above, and it will print every row from it. So here we get only this particular columns, that is the RAM, we get the display, and we get the price from the SQL table. So this was all about that. I wanted to show you about scraping multiple pages from a website, and you can build the logic for the same. What you can do is that you can change it to a CSV file and also to SQL tables. So I hope that all the part that I have covered in this video is clear to you. If you have any doubt regarding any of the part that I have shown in this video, feel free to write in the comment section below. If you have any doubts regarding the same, I will definitely try to reply to them. And definitely I will leave this file as a GitHub link below. Till then, if you like my work, please do hit the like, share and subscribe button.